What is up, everybody? Welcome in, trickle in. Oh yeah, we're talking Hawkeye. We're talking episode 5. We're gonna break it down, talk about the things we like, talk about the things we didn't like, talk about the big reveal, talk about all the craziness. Do me a favor, smash the like button. I know it's crazy early. You're like, what am I even doing here? What is life? What is going on? Smash like. It's just going to take a second. I also want to say to everybody watching that's not a member, we have it in members only right now. And that is mostly just because the Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers are everywhere. And there's a bunch of people just going around spoiling stuff in chat. So unfortunately, I have to keep it in members only mode. And we're just going to be kind of doing this for a while until we get to Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay, so it's kind of crazy, but yeah, there's a lot of crazy spoilers out there. The Multiverse of Madness trailer has leaked out there on the internet. Lots of stuff to talk about. But that's for other videos and other streams. Tonight, right now, we're talking about Hawkeye episode 5. I have a poll up in the chat right now, and it looks right now like a ton of you guys, and I really do mean a ton of you guys, 90% of the votes are on the liked it or loved it episode train. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So, first of all, I think that's awesome. I think it's super cool that so many folks like the episode. And you might be like, uh-oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Relax over there. You know the joy of doing the chat members only? Normally, I get a bunch of random people yelling at me about my opinions and takes, okay? This is just daily, part of the job. But when it's members only like this, I just get yelled at by my own community. My own community just yells at me and gets mad about the things that I feel about the episode, etc., etc. Boo this man! Boo this man, they say. That's what they say. So, yes, we are going to get into, my general thoughts about it. I'll just say, I'm still trying to kind of wrap my head around it. I'll have to give it another watch tomorrow. But, yeah, I don't know, fam. Hey, look, I'm just gonna say it. Like, it is what it is. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Okay? There were just, in my opinion, decisions were made that I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. But I want to sort of, spoiler warning, okay? It's out there in the thing, it is what it is. Everybody shut your mouth. Listen, Kingpin's in this show, obviously, right? And the way they did this was teasing a photograph sent by Yelena of Kate's mom and Kingpin together, which, by the way, is cool. Validates some of the theories and the different things that we've had. But I saw Stormy say something in the chat about how he doesn't think he's going to be big, like a lot of the rumors out there were. And I will admit that in the photograph, he doesn't look that big, like for real. So maybe not. But in this part of the post-credit scene here, or rather, not the post-credit scene, but I guess it's technically the post-credit scene. It's like the credits, If you see the silhouette of Kingpin here, I mean, that's a big boy. You know what I mean? That's a big dude. And so I still think it's possible that Kingpin is big. But let's pull it up. Let's take a peek. Who is that with my mom? Interesting way to put that. Well, that's the guy I've been worried about this whole time. That's Kingpin. Wow, I really can't get on the shot, huh? Okay, there we go. So, at this angle right here, yeah, he doesn't look that big. I guess it's kind of hard to say for sure, but he doesn't look gigantic, right? And if you're not following along with what I'm saying here, the TLDR on this is that, you know, it's been rumored for some time that Vincent D'Onofrio is back as Kingpin. Great to see him actually in the MCU, of course. But along with that rumor came this idea that to differentiate him from the version of the character we saw on Netflix, he was going to be big. Like big, like bigger, like huge. Like beluga whale shit. You know what I mean? Like fucking... It's a big boy, you know, kind of dude. More like the 90s Spider-Man cartoon and more like what he is in the comic books. So here, he doesn't necessarily look all that much bigger than the version of the character on Netflix. What do you guys think? What do you think? Kind of interesting. Okay, so let's go through the episode. Let's break it on down. So I actually really like the beginning of the episode. It starts with a cold open of some Black Widows coming in 2018 to this lady's house, who I think like weirdly looks like Brie Larson. I mentioned this during the other stream, but especially like in shots like this, like she looks a lot like Brie Larson, don't you think? Like if she had like different eyebrows maybe or something, she'd be looking like Brie Larson for sure. So they bust on in here. And the idea is that these Black Widows are kind of like interacting with this other Black Widow who's no longer a widow anymore. And she is out there doing her own thing, getting money to kill people. She's essentially becoming like a private assassin. And Yelena's like, that's a brilliant idea. She's like doing the arithmetic on it. She's like, so I can kill people and make money and buy a nice fancy house like this. I'm in. You know what I mean? Is essentially what it is. It actually ends up at a place where she has to leave because they're talking about Natasha, and she's having like an emotional scene in the bathroom. And then she gets snizzapped away. Loved it. Thought this was fantastic. It was super cool how they did this cinematically. And then she gets brought in. It's all different. Things are different. She's there 5 years later with the same gal that she had sort of come to see. And she's like, I got to find Natasha. And then we sort of get our open. And, you know, we get a little bit of the recap of what's going on. Kate coming home, bummed out. Her and mom have a freaking moment. You know. And honestly, here's what's really interesting. I will say this about Eleanor Bishop and the actress and everything on this in this thing. You can kind of see it coming from a mile away, but the way she portrays being like loving to her daughter and stuff, it's pretty good. You know what I mean? I think the idea here is that it's supposed to be complex. Like she is trying to be a good mom and she really cares about her daughter, but she's also obviously horrible, evil, corrupt, working with Kingpin, etc., etc. But she really sells it in these scenes, man. You know what I mean? She's really, like, it's emotional, and I feel it. Kate's like, okay, you know, Jack's mustache is ridiculous, Mom. And it's made us believe that he's criminal, and we looked into it, and he definitely is. So, we looked into it. It was the mustache. I don't know if you caught that in the show. She's like, it was the mustache. So, kind of interesting, right? Then you get a scene here with Maya opening up with Kazi. Interesting. Now, this, I think, was something a lot of people wanted to see. And I'm really curious on your thoughts about this, okay? Because I've got thoughts on it, and everyone's going to hate what I have to say about it. So I'd rather start with you. I'd start with you. How did you guys feel about this? The scene with Yelena and Kate Bishop. I think a lot of people anticipated seeing these two together. They're both fantastic actresses. And we get a full-on Tarantino-style dialogue sequence between these two characters. I'm curious what you thought. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you think it was cool? You know, I think it's like charming. You know what I mean? It's interesting. Definitely playing off of the vibes of like just trying to be two gals talking about the city while also having these very intense sort of undertones. Kate plays it cool, you know, and she's just trying not to give that info away. We get Clint with Gills to sort of interject that scene. Yelena basically reveals, look, I'm Natasha's sister. I'm going to kill Clint. Clint's a really bad dude. You don't know him. He's killed a lot of people. He's horrible. Don't get in my way. By the way, I know I look great and I can still jump out of windows. Nice callback to that last episode. You could definitely jump out of windows, Yelena. You're quite good at it. I would do that a lot too. If I could jump out of windows like that and make exits, I'd probably do it all the time and show off. Get some pizza dog moments. Clint being tired. This is kind of an interesting thing, and this is something I'll come back to in just my sort of criticisms of the episode. So much of this episode, like, have you guys ever heard the expression "show don't tell"? I talked about this on the other stream, but there's an idea in entertainment and storytelling where you should show, not tell. And this episode weirdly tells and doesn't show in a lot of different situations. This is one that is, again, just for me, a weird choice. You just come back to the house and Jack's getting arrested. He's explaining that he's framed, you know. Like, I get it, but you're just kind of like, I don't know. That's just kind of interesting. Like, you can't have the cops come in and like get him or whatever. I don't know. Just a small little thing. Clint goes to the memorial. He says he talks to Natasha. Super powerful scene. You know, obviously Renner brings it. He's amazing. And then he's like, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do. Sort of setting the tone of what's about to happen. We get a lot of Kate on the phone, leaving him a bunch of crazy messages. We get the bros getting the message to tell Maya to meet, you know, setting up the scene. Now, this is kind of interesting. Hawkeye has a conversation with his wife, and to me, this really does just kind of push forward the theory that Laura Barton is actually Bobby Morse, and that is the Mockingbird character, who was also like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or what have you. The line that she says where she's like, just trust that nobody will know, nobody will understand like I do. I love you, go end this, blah, blah, blah. They have a cool relationship. So, again, just kind of furthering that. Then we get the singular action sequence of the episode. And it's good. You know what I mean? It's cool. Like, Clint's doing his thing, ninja-ing all these dudes, has a pretty nice epic fight with Maya, ends up getting her better, shows his face, and basically is like, if you come after me or my family, I'm going to kill the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Maya getting all angry. Clint also lets her know, and this is going to be very important for this character moving forward, that it was actually her boss, the big guy, Uncle Rico, who was the one that wanted her father dead. That's very similar to what happens in the comics. You know what I mean? Very similar. So, Kate saves him. They get an Uber. She drops this thing on Kazi, and he's like, oh, shit, I think she might be onto me, etc., etc. And then the episode ends, guys. The episode ends with Yelena following Kate's mom, and we have this conversation at Gil's place. Kate gets the phone, she gets the message. We presume from Yelena, you deserve to know. And we get the Hawkeye, or rather the Kingpin tease. Come on, man, where you at? Okay, cool. So this is the guy I've been worried about the whole time. Hey, all the theories, all the speculation, all of it going into this was correct. It is Kingpin. Kingpin is at the top of this whole thing. I find it kind of interesting, to be honest with you, like some of the ways in which he is talked about. Make me wonder, like, man, are they upping the sort of cachet of the Kingpin, because it really seems like this is a really big deal. And don't get me wrong, Kingpin is a big deal and it's crazy and all that, but like Hawkeye fought Thanos. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, it seems like they're saying, he's like talking to his wife about how bad it would be if the big guy got involved. She's like the big guy. And if she's really Bobby Morse, that's a little strange because, like, I understand Kingpin is, crazy, but like in the world of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of the people that they've dealt with, et cetera, like, is this really that bad? And if it is, you need that explained. I need to understand that a little bit more as an audience member. As it stands, they're just building him up as this big MacGuffin, this big crazy thing. And yeah, like, I expect a little bit more of him in episode 5. And I think that episode 5 will pop off and be really crazy. And what I'll say about this episode is that it doesn't, like, I don't hate the episode, right? But I am, just frankly speaking, disappointed in the episode. I think that, these Marvel shows, there's really, really great moments, and I've enjoyed a lot of them. And on the whole, I've enjoyed most of them. You know what I mean? But to me, they do make some really interesting choices. And I think they haven't quite nailed pacing yet. And even like my favorite one, which is Loki, right? Loki kind of has a sort of uneven pace in the middle, and it's kind of strange, right? Like, I would say episodes 2 to 4 of Loki, it's a kind of a strange pace. I'm personally all still there for it, and I like the episode. But like kind of like 3 to 4 to 5, you're like, oh, wow, okay. And I would say that this show, these last 2 episodes, like 4 and 5, super exposition heavy, a lot of telling and not showing, and a serious lack of action. And I'm not suggesting that it needs to be full on action all the time, but I'm saying, like, as a viewer, like here's I think one of the best ways I can put it. If you watch the Netflix shows, like the Daredevil Netflix show or, Jessica Jones or whatever, lot of dialogue, a lot of talking, sometimes entire episodes that drag on for like a damn near hour, and it's a lot of conversations and stuff like that. One of the biggest complaints about those Netflix shows was that they were like long, bro. Like, some of those seasons are like 20 episodes or, actually, how long were those seasons? Now I'm kind of interested. But they just felt like there were a lot of like kind of slower fillery episodes. You hear this a lot, right? Let's find out. I want to know. So it's 39 episodes in 3. So yeah, that's... Okay, so 13, and 13. Yeah. So over twice as many episodes as Hawkeye. 13 episodes, about an hour a piece. That's a long time, right? A big complaint of the Netflix shows was that you don't need that many episodes, especially like, and I do think this particularly holds true for certain shows like the Iron Fist show, or even like the later seasons of Daredevil, where it's like, do you really need all that? You know what I mean? It would have been a lot tighter of a package if you had just kind of cut the fat. What's weird to me about Hawkeye is I think 4 and 5 can be one episode. You know what I mean? Like, 4 and 5 could have been one episode, and then you get a little bit more. And when I say action, I don't just mean like shooty fight, arrows flying, smash wall, all that. You can like have action that's not full on fight scenes and stuff like that. And even just, I don't know, man. Like, it feels like to me, the shows, they're just a little uneven. You know what I mean? They're just a little uneven. So that's kind of where I'm at with the episode. I'd say probably 7 out of 10. I like it slightly more than I like last week's episode. And I do still expect that the finale will be absolute fire. And a lot of the stuff that's being established here is really cool. Like, I like Yelena as a character. I like Kate Bishop as a character. I like Maya as a character. I like Hawkeye as a character. You know what I mean? But, for me, just a lot of conversations choices. I mean, like, if you think about it, right, you got this cold open, which essentially turns into a conversation. Not bad, but it is a conversation. You've got the conversation with, mother-daughter. It's not a small one, Then you get another conversation, Maya and Kazi. You get another conversation, Yelena and Kate. You get a brief conversation with Gills and Hawkeye. You get the homie being arrested in a single shot. You know what I mean? You get Hawkeye talking to himself. You get Kate talking to the answer machine. You get the tracksuit bros, and thank God they can do no wrong. You get a conversation between the wife and Hawkeye. You know what I mean? And then you get the action sequence, which is dope. But if we look at 2910 is when that starts. I mean, it is over at 34. So 5 minutes in a 44-minute episode? Let's just call it 38. But, 5 minutes of action. And then you get another conversation. And then you get, and this is like conversationception. You get a conversation that becomes a text conversation. It's like a conversation about a text conversation. And then the Kingpin reveal is a cell phone photograph. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, Professor Josh has to dock them points. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. Hashtag cancel Josh. But I am saying, not my favorite. Not my favorite. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Jake Cruz, very generous, $20 house says, where are the Mephisto confirmed shirts? Oh, we'll get some of those, baby. We'll get some of those going. Absolutely, we will. Okay. So here we go. Let me have it, chat. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm an entitled fan. Tell me all the things. Fucking let me have it. Let me know. What's on your mind? What do you guys think about the episode? I'll get into a little bit of Q&A. We'll chill here for like 10, 15 minutes at the most. Look, man, it's either way, as exciting times for Marvel fans. It's super fucking cool that Kingpin is back. I'm into it. I'm excited. But at the same time, just not my favorite episode. You know what I mean? And can it just be okay? Like, can it just be okay that these last two episodes here are not my favorite? Are we gonna have a fucking problem again? Is this gonna be a thing? All right, so I'll start going over. We got a couple super chats in here, and I'll see what y'all are saying in the chat as well. And hey, is there anything I missed in the episode? Is there anything crazy out there, Easter egg wise, spoiler wise, tease wise? Do you see where I'm coming from? Or are you like, no, Josh, you're wrong? Let me know. Colin McGee says, with a $5 holla, says, I get the vibe that Yelena and Maya are going to turn on Kingpin. If he had Valentina hire Yelena, could we get a John Walker cameo to defend him? That would be wild. So she says in the text here that she knows who hired her, meaning Yelena, and it's Eleanor Bishop. So Kate's mom hired her, which explains why she didn't hurt Kate. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's pretty interesting, but I don't think you're going to get John Walker, and I don't know if Valentina is going to be connected to this or popped up. So we'll see. Appreciate the love, man. Meister420 with a $5 holla says, I think that call to Laura was pretty sus. I think for sure Laura was Ronin first, and she's the one who killed Echo's dad, and Clint is covering for her. Yeah, it's very possible, and I like that theory a lot. I did the podcast with Fandom Wire last week. Really cool episode. We talked about episode 4 of Hawkeye. We talked about theories and whatnot, and that was kind of one that we sort of spitballed back and forth. Yeah, and I love that theory, man. I love that idea that she could not only be Bobby and be, kind of a badass, but also could have had the Ronin mantle before Clint. I don't think it plays that she's the one that killed the dad. It would depend on when that was. But from my understanding, that happened during blip time, and Laura was gone, or Bobby was gone, right? So it is what it is. But yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate the support. Mark Shiner, very generous, $10 holla, says, if Romanoff was hired by Kingpin, but Contessa Valent blah 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 gave her the hit on Hawkeye, does that mean Kingpin is behind Valentina and he's the one assembling the Dark Avengers? I'd love that, Mark. Do it. I say do it, man. Have Kingpin be the one to do Dark Avengers or something to that effect. I think that would be really, really cool. Technically speaking, in the comics, somebody like a Valentina Contessa would technically be higher up the food chain than someone like the Kingpin. And that's why, I'm a little bit confused by that aspect of the show, honestly, because, look, I love Kingpin and I'm all for it. Make him the big bad, make him brilliant, make him be totally ruthless and awesome. But at the same time, as comic book villains go, Kingpin's dope, but, somebody assembling the Dark Avengers, that's a little bit higher. Norman is just a much higher on the food chain type character than Kingpin. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. And then again, Jake Crust, thank you for the $20 holla about the Mephisto confirmed shirt. Appreciate the love, my guy. I really, really do. I really, really do. Let's see here. We got one from Brent. Says Val was clearly hired by Kingpin. He loved Yelena. Maybe that's the way it is. Darth Baba says, wrong. Trump voice. He's trying to meme on me. So let's look into the chat. And Ryan, welcome to the Nerd Avengers, man. Welcome, Ryan. You are a Nerd Avenger now. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me see. My chat's a little bit behind. Let me see if I can refresh it. See if I refresh. I definitely want to know what y'all thought. Yo, yeah, it's pretty much sticking at that 90%. So 90% of you guys liked it and or loved it. So that's cool. Renee Carroll says, I'm probably late to the game. That watch has to be Fury's, right? So, Renee, I've heard that. There's actually a new theory that it could be Hank Pym's because he, takes off a watch in Ant-Man or whatever. My thought on the watch is that it's very likely to be Nick. It could be Nick Fury's, yes. But maybe it's Nick Fury's that he gave to Laura or to Bobby. Because the big idea with the watch to me, Renee, is that Clint's wife, who we currently think of as Laura Barton, is actually a character from comics called Mockingbird, a.k.a. Bobby Morse. Because those two have a relationship in the comics, Hawkeye and Bobby. And so there's been a lot of little hints at this. I think the last episode hinted at it heavily. This episode, when she says, trust that no one will understand it like I do or whatever, when they're on the phone, it kind of really seems like they're playing up that kind of aspect. So very likely that the watch either belongs to or is connected to Bobby. So it could be Fury's watch that was given to him by Bobby Morse, a.k.a. Laura. Who knows for sure? Kate mentioned the new Statue of Liberty, says Jake. Fun tie to Spider-Man. It is indeed a fun tie to Spider-Man. I was hoping for a little bit more. I wanted Spider-Man just to swing by. You know what I mean? That would have been sick. But yeah. No, that is kind of fun. Yeah, for sure. What I don't get is that Rolex is a man's watch. Are there no Rolexes for ladies, Alexa? I don't really know about that, to be honest with you. They don't make Rolexes for ladies? It's kind of weird. Maybe that's true. But yeah, again, it could be a gift from Bobby to someone else. You know what I mean? LMI Music says, do you think that since this show is much closer to the source material than other projects have been, and yet it's not being too well received, Feige may stray away from the comics moving forward? No, I don't get that feeling at all. I'll tell you this. I don't think the show's being poorly received. I think it's just a Hawkeye show. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, I've talked to a lot of different people about this. I think there are several things sort of that specific watch is a man's watch. Okay, right on, yeah. So I think the truth is when it comes to Hawkeye's viewership numbers, it's very probably likely the case that the show's it's just not that high up on people's list. And really and truly, without like knowing some of the deeper comic connections, there's not a big draw for normies. You know what I mean? So I don't think that Marvel is looking at this show and the viewership as a failure at all. And, you know, this is one of the things, and, I'm going to go ahead and plug the podcast again. I think it's a great conversation that I had with Rob from Comics Explained. And then I sort of had a follow-up conversation with Paul where we get into this a little bit as well. Marvel has to decide, are they okay with their shows being missable? Meaning, a lot of people think that as much as the MCU is all tied together and we as hardcore fans want to watch all this content, a lot of people think that the MCU shows are actually not as must watch as you would think. And if you start to like really put it together, right? Do you need to watch WandaVision to be able to understand Doctor Strange 2? Probably not. Will it fill in some of the gaps? Yeah, well, I still think it's definitely worth a watch. But my point is, Marvel's walking this sort of weird line right now where I feel like they kind of need to decide, like, are we going to make must-watch Disney Plus television? Or are we just going to make some MCU television that's connected? And I think that, honestly, Hawkeye and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, you don't need to watch them to sort of understand what's going on further. So maybe that's okay. Like, I sort of have mixed feelings about it. Like, and I again, we get into it more in the podcast. Rob kind of thinks it's totally fine. Like, his take on it was you need balance and you need like good, crazy, like epic stuff. And then you need stuff that's like, yeah, it's just, it just is a show. I don't know. Like, on the one hand, look, I'm going to watch it all regardless. You know what I mean? But I do think it's a little bit, as a Marvel fan, because I think the movies and what they do with the movies is so high caliber that it is a little bit disappointing for me as a fan to sort of sit back and potentially realize that the shows are actually not going to stand shoulder to shoulder with some of the most incredible television that's out there. You know what I mean? And that's not even necessarily what they're trying to do. Does that make sense? So I think Marvel movies, especially the really, really good ones, they stand toe-to-toe with just great movies in general. Like, I would tell you that some of the highest rated, for me, in my top 5 of Marvel movies, I would put them up against, like, great movies. But I can't really say that about the shows. The only one that is at that caliber for me is Loki. You know what I mean? Star Wars needs to put it all in the shows where Marvel crushes it in theaters. Yeah, that's a great point, Ryan, because it is true. Like, I was just thinking about that, actually, where it's like, well, Star Wars, they need to come swinging. Every Star Wars show is going to come, like, to play. Like, it's coming with its A game 100% like crazy. They're establishing whole new arcs, worlds, situations, scenarios, right? But the Marvel shows really kind of play as like a side dish, you know what I mean, to what's going on in the movies. So, hey, maybe that's okay, but I appreciate the thought. I appreciate the question. What else is on your guys' mind? What are you thinking? Yeah, Cyan, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Which, it's fine. Like to me, again, just to circle back to this idea, like to me, that's fine. It kind of took me a little bit to like get there. And I still expect like a lot from certain shows. Like I think Armor Wars, I'm hoping is just crazy. I guess what I'm saying is not all these shows are trying to be Game of Thrones and shit. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what it is. Not all these shows are trying to be epic, like that. Like the Hawkeye show, by and large, just plays like a really fun show with really cool characters. Does a great job of establishing Kate Bishop, and I do really enjoy that character. But it's just kind of a nice show, and until we know for sure what happens next week, we can't make this call. But it feels like a lot of the Hawkeye show is not integral. You know what I mean? Do we know anything about Armored Wars? We know a little bit. RF Gaming says these characters start popping up in movies, people will start checking out the shows more. Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think that, in a sense, too, what they're building is a catalog with Marvel that, much like in the comics, you can choose to go wide or you can choose to go deep. Meaning, there's so much out there with Marvel. You can pick all sorts of different stuff. But then also, like, let's just say you were to see Kate Bishop pop up in, I don't know, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, for instance. And if that character popped up there and you start to get a little bit, Young Avengers vibes, if you really like that character, then you can sort of go back and read the back issues, right? You can get caught up on the trade. Yeah, so that's kind of where my thought is with it. Like, they're establishing this thing where you can watch all these different things, but then because of Disney Plus, because Disney Plus is not going anywhere and this stuff's just going to be there forever, you're creating a deep catalog as well for different aspects of it. Jason says, wasn't knocking overthinking. I overthink everything. Yeah. No, I get you, bro. Look, these sort of situations, like, to be honest with you guys, like, I'm used to it by now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to it by now. I think that when something really, like, when something that you guys are really excited about or something that is the wider, the hype train for the nerdy community or whatever, whenever I sort of run afoul to that, like, there's sort of obvious friction there, and I totally understand it. I think the best thing that I can do is just try to be light with it. And that was the biggest mistake I made before, right? Like when it came to WandaVision, when it came to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think the biggest mistake I made was getting like my attitude soured. You know what I mean? Where I got a little like fussy about it, which is bad. And that like adds to like, you don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I can come out and say what I have to say. And, be honest to myself and be true to myself. But I don't necessarily have to, like, take an attitude that would retract away from, your personal enjoyment or something like that, right? So, yeah, it's all good, brother. I saw somebody mention the Secret Wars interview with Russo. And first of all, smash like, you motherfuckers. I know it's, like, ass early in the morning, but shut your mouth and smash like. Yeah, I did a TikTok about it. I'm going to start, you guys are going to hear that a lot. You're going to be like, did you hear about this? And I'm going to be like, yeah, dude, no, I did a TikTok about it. Go to the TikTok. Papa Josh is trying to be cool like one of the kids. I got a TikTok. TikTok's all people care about. I'm trying to get to go to fucking premieres and be cool. Everybody loves me. I'm trying to TikTok. Go over to the TikTok. I did a thing about it already on the TikTok. We're talking on the TikTok. Yeah, so I did a little video about it. There's actually... it's fucking crazy ass things going on right now, guys. There's stuff I can't even say. I want to try to... There's stuff I want to look. Secret Wars is happening, and if y'all thought, like, look, man, we got some dope stuff coming up with Spider-Man, regardless of what is or is not in the movie. I think it's going to be quite enjoyable and very ambitious. We had Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, an absolute epic ending to the Infinity Saga and a great retelling of one of the greatest comic book stories of all time. But y'all ain't seen nothing yet. And I think, too, because I have personally been waving this flag for so long, you know? I've been saying Secret Wars for so long. I've been saying that's what's next for so long that I will be the most hyped, the most excited, the most exhilarated. Just you peak Josh on YouTube when we get a little closer to Secret Wars. And some of the things that are even being said right meow, absurd, real crazy, real crazy. Yes, I'll be so hyped that everyone will be like, damn, dude, Soups is pretty mild compared to Josh when it comes to Secret Wars. Every video, I'll just be like, ah, Secret Wars! Like, just the whole time. That's all I'll be doing. And I'll be like, dude, this dude's content has kind of gone downhill. Show the clip of Russo? Yeah. I could do that, actually. Here, give me 2 seconds.
Secret Wars yet or what? One of these days we'll have to see how this all shakes out. I don't know what they're going to do with all these characters.
Yes, you do, because you've been having monthly meetings with them since you left.
I got to ask. What can I say? Look, we love those guys. And are you guys ready for Secret Wars yet or what? One of these days we'll have to see how this all shakes out. I don't know what they're going to do with all these characters.
Yes, you do, Joe. They've been having monthly meetings with Marvel Studios ever since they left. I don't know if you guys know that. They slipped up and said that in a different interview like a fucking year ago. Your boy's been on it. I've been sniffing this out. Believe that.
You guys are talking again. Is that true? I got to ask. What can I say? Look, we love those guys. And I can't say one way or the other, but I'd work with them in a heartbeat. It's the best working experience.
Blah. Just talk about it.
Are you guys ready for Secret Wars yet or what? One of these days we'll have to see how this all shakes out. I don't know what they're And are you guys ready for Secret Wars yet or what?
Oh, shit. You know when you get asked that question? Look at that smile. He's like, you motherfucker. We talked about this, Brandon. We're going to have a fucking conversation about this, Brandon.
One of these days we'll have to see how this all shakes out. I don't know what they're going to do with all these characters.
Yes, you do.
You guys are talking again. Is that true? I got.
That is actually Shatari. Look at Brandon, dude. He's so fucking happy in this picture. A picture's worth 1,000 words. This is the one. This is the screenshot. Look at how fucking happy he is. Oh my God, this is amazing. And look at Joe. Joe's like looking at the camera like, dude, this is... What can I say? Just admit it.
Look,
Tell us about it.
Guys.
Is it Doom or not? Is Kang replacing Doom? Tell us about it. Yeah, so there's that. Kind of cool. Kind of crazy. What else is on your mind, people? We're going to get out of here in a little bit because Papa Josh got to go Papa sleep. Yeah. What, did we get shut down? The fuck? They shut us down? What's up, Jedi Mike? My bad, bro. Doctor Strange 2 trailer leak is looking fan-made. Oh, no, it's real. To be honest with you, though, I haven't actually seen the one on the tubes. Like, I didn't actually watch it, but I read the description of it, and from what I understand, yeah, all that shit's real. I mean, what do you think we've been doing over here? Man, I find this shit so annoying about like, let's just act like we don't fucking know Kingpin's in it. We don't want to spoil it for anybody, but we're down to talk about it like all the weeks before. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's pretty dope, though. Booted up YouTube earlier. My TV, and the first thing recommended list gave me was the Strange 2 leak trip. Bro. Right? And, like, these people aren't even... Like, that kind of stuff's wild to me. Like, actually just showing it. People get mad at me. They're like, bro, you talked about the thing that we've been talking about forever in your video, and you labeled it as spoilers and stuff and framed it as a question. You chose money over fans. Fucking hate you, bro. And then you got other people out there showing you literal scenes from the movie, and YouTube ain't doing shit about it, and everybody's just getting their spoilers right in their face. You know what I mean? Just wild. I don't get no respect over here. You know what I mean? I don't get no respect. Just another day on YouTube. It's kind of wild. It's kind of fucking wild. Oh, shit. Jedi Mike, no! Yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Everybody have a good night. No respect. Take my wife. Everybody have a good night. Much love to you all. No stream tomorrow unless you're a Nerdventure member. So we'll be going live at 7. We're doing a super Spider-Man type stream. We're going to watch some Japanese Spider-Man. We're going to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2. We're going to watch some just fun Spider-Man stuff. Just get hyped up and excited for Spider-Man. For the rest of you, I'll see you guys on Thursday morning talking about some fun stuff. And then I will be seeing Spider-Man Thursday afternoon at 3:30. And then I'll also be seeing Spider-Man again Friday night at 7:30. Thursday morning, or rather Friday morning, we'll do a spoiler stream about No Way Home. And then I think Saturday afternoon I'll also do a spoiler stream. So lots of content coming at you, lots of streams. Much love. Appreciate you guys. Guys, have a good night. I'll see you soon, okay?